somehow created from the Tentails?
That's not
Imagine
the
if it
same
was.
context, so.
Yeah.
Yo, but I liked your I was listening in the background, Mortal Phoenix. I liked your theory about the about him being like the main body of the Tentails. I don't think I ever heard that one before. That's pretty interesting.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, you have absolutely.
yeah.
If you watched our podcast,
Yeah, because
y'all
I've always-
podcast too long.
I don't agree with people saying that Jura is Kawaki, because here's the problem with
either.
this. Like Kawaki was never bitten by a claw grime, and also some people are saying it's Kawaki because they're mentioning the scene where the claw grime has slammed Kawaki, and they're assuming
They're saying the Renegon absorbed his chakra.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck?
Or he touched him and absorbed his chakra.
No, I agree.
Like,
I agree.
I was
with
like,
it.
where was it stated
I'm
or
gonna play devil's
shown
advocate,
that was the
but
case?
also argue against. Well,
like,
okay,
why
so-
is everybody else? Why is everybody else stuck in a tree besides Kawaki though? Then
Because he's so tootsie.
Yeah, so I mean, there's aspects.
Is
where I
Jura's
can see
Kawaki's
the idea.
consciousness? Like it doesn't
sure.
really make any sense for
It
him
makes
to be
sense. It makes
Kawaki.
perfect sense. The reason they didn't show it artistically is because they're waiting for the reveal.
Yeah, but then
No,
you
but
look
the
at
thing is, like that clock grime didn't turn into it. Like I said, Oodie, I'm gonna make sure you know this.
I know.
If the Tentails devours an Atsuki, it turns into a tree. If it devours a human, it still turns into a tree, just less good of a tree. So that clock grime should have turned into a tree if it absorbed Kawaki's chakra. Unless absorbing is different from devouring. If it is the same, he should have turned into a tree. Instead,
I'm gonna go
it
find
just
a quote
got killed.
because I disagree.
see,
Oodie, they say it in 900 different chapters.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go find the chapter where you're
Tentails
wrong.
turns into a tree. Like what quote? Every time they mention it, it's when a Tentails eats an Atsuki that it becomes the divine tree. That's the whole point. It's the point.
It's
And
in
then
the
when they
card.
devoured the humans,
chapters.
when they devoured the humans, they were like a defective divine tree because humans
Yeah,
aren't.
Sarda
Atsuki.
made
Like,
a
you're sup-
made a point about that.
Exactly. That's something.
Yeah,
you'll
the
look
point
for.
is.
She
No,
was
but
saying
Oodie,
like
the
they were
point-
still conscious or something like that.
yeah, they're still
the
conscious.
point, Oodie, isn't that they became a tree because they're humans. It's because it's that it didn't become the proper tree because they were humans. They become a tree regardless. The point is, a human tree sucks. Otsuki tree is a divine tree that actually works.
Okay, so let me ask you
That's the
right
point.
now: is Hidari, Jura, Matsuri, or the bug one? Are they trees right now, Kamui? Would you classify them as trees?
That's the weird.
Their main
part.
bodies,
That's what I'm
yeah.
talking about.
Wait.
So you know what? Maybe it
show
did
their main
turn into a
bodies yet.
tree.
We didn't see their main bodies yet, so we don't know. Like we haven't seen Bug's main body. We only seen the Shinju version of Bug. So until we see
No,
Bug's
we've
main
seen
body,
his main
then that
body.
will
His main
confirm it.
body's in the tree. So that's
Yeah,
why,
they're-
for me at least, I've been leaning towards the idea. I mean, this could be wrong, but I've leaned towards the
I don't
idea
remember
that like
that.
the
Seeing
bug.
them in a tree.
It's in chapter 3, right when Code goes to the Tentails dimension, they show us the bug tree, and in chapter 4. But anyway, so Sasuke Hidari, he doesn't have to be this way, but I get the feeling that like Hidari was essentially like birthed out of Sasuke's tree. Like he's a seed that popped out. Essentially, it's like his son in a way. It was created from Sasuke's tree. Could be wrong. It could have just poofed. I don't know. But it doesn't literally form. But Oodie, my point though is whether or not Jura would form elsewhere, the clock grind that theoretically absorbed Kawaki's chakra still didn't turn into a tree of any sort.
I don't think it has to.
Facts.
That's how it's supposed to go. But it should. If he's absorbing his chakra and that it counts as eating, then he should have turned into a tree right then and there.
You saw every other character, even the ones that didn't get turned into Shinju turn into trees.
But every other character is
hypothetically, if that clock rhyme was just using a telepathic send chakra to the main body power, like it just sent it to the main body should have turned into a tree right then and there too.
True.
But maybe it did.
That's
Maybe it turned into Jura, which is a tree, apparently.
No, it didn't. We literally see
listen.
the main body later in that chapter, not yet Jura. So the thing is, what they've implied, okay, what Boruto says in this chapter, which I still find weird, is that they've essentially already become trees. So even though they don't look like trees, and they're they're weird, kind of like ten tails. It's like
They're
they're
humanoid trees.
halfway
They're
there.
humanoid
And
divine
it kind of seems
trees.
like they're halfway there. They've evolved beyond ten tails, but they're not like a proper divine tree yet. Essentially, and that's because of codes. And this is where this would support the Ishiki thing. Is well, if Ishiki's essence through code was making them evolve, then Jura, the ten tails' main body, may have just already. Regardless, if it's Ishiki, I think it already was there. But the point is, it might already have Ishiki's chakra. That's why the main body is resembling, it would be Ishiki related. The other ones also acquired, Sasuke, Moegi, or whoever's chakra. Honestly, I don't even know where they came from, because if they came out of,
Came from Ishiki.
if Hidari came out of Sasuke's tree, that makes sense to me. If he didn't, I don't fucking get it.
No, I think they came from the roots
was-
of the Ten Tails itself, which was in that cage. Could have come from
Maybe they could
underground.
have came from the Ten Tails' chakra.
Could have came from that room from
Coming
chapter
out-
5 where they were all just sitting down where that cube was. Could be a different
But where
dimension.
is that room?
Could be in that Ten Tails dimension. But I put the proof in chat. It says, this is a defective divine tree because it devoured the wrong thing, in reference to Soegi.
Yes, Oodie, that's the point. It's a
That's what we
defective
was just
divine
saying.
tree.
Okay,
It's
and
supposed to be a
Jura-
normal divine tree.
And Jura
Hold on,
isn't
time out.
defective. Jura's a normal divine tree.
Well, he's
He's-
not normal.
To me, he's
You know what I
more
mean. He's
than
not
a normal
defective.
divine tree.
But he's not defective.
So it can't be Soege.
Neither is Moegi's Matsuri tree. She's not defective.
What do you mean by defective?
Like, I would say, like,
I don't know. That's the series. I mean, not
defective
this.
as in, like,
Well, I
not
think defective is, like, for example, the tree that Sarada's sitting on, that tree isn't trying to absorb Sarada and everyone else and grow into a divine. It's not doing anything. It's just done. It absorbed
Okay.
one person.
Yeah,
and
like
it's
if you go
done.
back to the war
That's why
arc,
it's
like the
defective.
divine tree was like trying to capture everybody that had chakra.
Exactly.
So I hear
Yeah.
what
It's
you're saying.
not doing that stuff. That's why it's defective. I don't know what the deal
Maybe
with
because it's
the
a
other
juvenile
were.
perfect-
Ten Tails though. Like the other
basically,
Ten Tails was a full grown Ten Tails in the war arc. We're
Yeah,
dealing with a
mental.
juvenile Ten Tails in this arc.
Well, we don't know if the
Mhm.
10,000 the war arc was fully grown. If anything, it was technically just
yeah, it
born.
was.
it's way bigger than the Ten Tails that we see in Boruto.
We don't
It
really
was-
know that.
It
Bro,
actually is.
they wouldn't have made a point of calling it a juvenile Ten Tails.
Trust me, you don't want to get
Also,
into a
did you-
size debate of the 10,000 with Kamui.
Here's the thing.
No, you don't want to get with Oodie.
Here's the thing. The Ten Tails that we see in the war arc had the power to destroy an entire continent, and also like the lore about it says that it can terraform planets.
Bro, I'm
And
not gonna
we've
lie.
seen-
The ghetto
yeah.
statue is more intimidating than the Boruto den.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but now you have to compare that to the Boruto one. How many
nice, like,
continents could the
whatever
Boruto one
dentist
destroy? I
that-
don't know.
Whatever dentist Ishiki brought that Ten Tails to just got rid of its intimidation
Wow.
factor. It's got like those nice teeth, like it's just
Yeah,
not
it
has
scary.
nice veneers. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
I would have loved it if the younger one had some sharp teeth.
We don't even know if
Nah,
it's
I like the
younger.
Yeah, it would just be
veneers.
more intimidating.
Yeah, more intimidating. But I'm
Nah, I
guessing
like the
they're
veneers.
I'm guessing they're trying to like make it clear that since it's a juvenile, it's not going to have its full set of teeth until it devours an Otsutsuki or evolves in some way.
But okay, but here's the actual weird thing though. So this kind of gets into Naruto versus Boruto Ten Tails lore and trying to piece it together. But like,
Yeah.
so as far as we're aware, this shape of the Ten Tails, it's very similar to the early one in the war arc, the one before it becomes humanoid-like. It's the blob shape. As far as we're aware, if this one eats an Atsuki, it just turns into a tree. It doesn't turn into the humanoid one first, and then needs to eat another one, and it just turns into a tree. So why is there even a middle stage of humanoid Ten Tails? As far as okay, well here's the answer. In Naruto, Kaguya integrated with the divine tree to become that humanoid Ten Tails. That's why it looks kind of like a human, kind of like a tree at the same time. That's just how the Ten Tails was created.
Okay,
It's
now,
just
now that's gonna be interesting about the Otsutsuki lore because Otsutsukis can become Ten Tails if they
Yes.
merge with the divine tree, and the Ten Tails, like
for all
those
we know, they
Shinjis that
can
we
just
see.
do it in general, though. For all
Yeah.
we know, merging with the divine tree is an extra step Kaguya did. We don't know that part, if that's a requirement or an extra thing.
I don't know, but if okay, this is gonna be like my own theory, headcanon-esque theory, but since Kaguya can in fact merge with the God Tree and become a Ten Tails, would the Ten Tails be some sort of defective Otsutsuki?
I don't think it's a defective Otsutsuki. I mean, I have my own theories. I still need to finish this stupid video on this.
The reason this is happening is because of code, anyways. So no, it just wouldn't work like that because code's changing the process. It would just be how it is normally. But yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's the weird thing though. But yeah, so why is it so different with code's influence than like anything else?
Seemingly because
maybe
of
code.
Maybe it has something to do with Shibai. I mean, Boruto said it's because of his karma. Boruto said it was because of his karma, though.
Yeah.
Code didn't use the thing is Code didn't use his white karma. We saw the scene. Code didn't actually use the white karma seal.
He doesn't have to.
He
still has it.
I would disagree. The thing is,
but that doesn't like when Kawaki, like say Kawaki in chapter like 30, when he's not using his karma seal, is he using Ishiki's chakra?
Okay, look at it this way.
I don't think so.
Look at it this way. You could seal a Jinchuriki into the Ghetto Mazo when they're in their base.
Hold on, because he was still using his dojutsu without his karma.
No. When he's not using, I've said chapter 30 before he's even awakened, or Boruto, for example. Boruto, versus Ao, when he didn't use the karma seal, he had a karma seal. Was he using Momoshiki's chakra?
Oh no, because he wasn't a full vessel at the time, though.
Okay, but you can seal
base Boruto in chapter 68. Is he using Momoshiki's chakra?
Okay, I guess not.
No, that's what I'm saying though. He wasn't 68. Was he a full Otsutsuki? No,
he's 100% Otsutsuki. Is he using Momoshiki's chakra when he's in base?
I want to say yeah. It will only make sense because he is 100% Momoshiki at that point. This Momoshiki hasn't taken over his consciousness, but I would assume that
the answer to that depends.
Karma seal, because the flash forward scene, he still activates his karma seal, which means the karma seal most likely gives him a boost of power, so he's drawing off of Momoshiki's power.
That's the thing, though. So on one hand, it makes sense if Kawaki was 100% Ishiki right now, then in base he would just be using Ishiki's chakra. But if that's the case,
right.
What's up with the karma seal then? Because the whole thing is Ishiki's chakra is in the karma seal. So when he's at 100%, when he uses the karma seal, he could use 100% of Ishiki's power, but that shouldn't apply to his base then. Like, because that's the point of the karma seal. That's when they use the chakra. So which is it?
Yeah, that's kind of confusing. I agree with you on that one.
Because and then when in the Amato, Sasuke, Shikamaru, that whole conversation during the Ishiki versus Kashin Koji fight, Sasuke asked what happens to karma when the Otsutsuki resurrects.
But do you know that they said that they're going to change that flash forward scene up a little bit? It's not going to be the exact same flash forward scene that we get when they get to it, though. They said they're going to change it.
Yeah,
because they didn't really know what they was going for when they started off board. So
yeah, they don't know what they were doing.
And everything. Yeah, but it's one of the cool scenes.
Yeah, it was a clickbait scene, but. In the thing with Amato, he says that when Ishiki resurrects, for example, the karma seal dissolves essentially onto the vessel. It spreads out, disperses, and it just integrates. So that implies that that's when all of the essence and chakra and stuff flows onto the vessel's body. It's when they resurrect. Otherwise, it's just in the karma seal. When they use the karma seal, they're using it. So if that's the case, I don't think base Kawaki right now is using Ishiki's chakra, unless he's using either the dojutsu or the karma seal. Otherwise, he's using Kawaki chakra. And if that's the case, it should apply to code. So, it depends on how you want to interpret things. But
I mean, code, he never got Ishiki's DNA. His karma seal
but
is
he's still, regardless of whether it's secretly Amato Ninja Tech, whatever. The point is he's got a white karma seal, and that thing has some type of power. So I don't know that. I mean, granted, code. That's why it's so freaking weird. Okay, so in Code's case, though, his hair turned white and all this crap. Got long eyelashes, painted nails and stuff. after he got his white karma seal, seemingly because of the white karma seal, because when the limiters
No,
were
that
written,
wasn't when he got the white. No. He had his white karma seal already, and then he got his limiters removed, and that's when he transformed into that.
Exactly, which means that, well, the only reason he got the limiters was because of his power after getting the white karma seal. So in the flashback, before he got karma, in the anime at least, we see he has red hair. With the limiters on, he has red hair. When the limiters are off, he has white hair, which kind of indicates that the karma seal, which made him strong, made his hair turn white. If it did that, then clearly it affected his body, which means it's not just in his white karma seal.
I'm under the assumption that he was special in a way, and he was like, I think he got his limiters placed on him before he got the karma seal experimented on him.
I mean, that means that Amato lied then, because the whole reason he got the limiters was because the reaction with Coat's white karma seal was astounding, and Jigen wanted him nerfed. That's what he said.
It's kind of funny because I was about to do a video on explaining how sentience was triggered within the Ten Tails, and I had assumed that it was Coat's claw marks because Coat's claw marks are a fusion of iron from his blood and his chakra. So I had assumed Coat imbued his essence within the Ten Tails, which triggered sentience within the Ten Tails. But chapter 6 says otherwise, and that would be Coat's white karma seal that have trigger sentience within the Ten Tails because it's Ishiki's essence being imbued into the Ten Tails, which that in of itself does make sense for why Jura would have similar facial features and similar demeanor to Ishiki. And you know, his target, Naruto, obviously.
Yeah. That makes the most sense.
Yeah, in my opinion. Yeah, and in that case, I think it's still the claw marks because that was the avenue from which Coat did this. It would just mean that the Ishiki essence or whatever was just in the claw marks.
Wasn't the claw marks a Shibai ability as well, though? Wasn't it?
So it didn't. Amato didn't state that it was.
Amato never said. Yeah. So basically, the way the sentences were structured, Amato said like, in addition to Ada and Damon's abilities, Coat's claw marks are also Shinjutsu, as is the Daikoku 10, as is Kawaki's Daikoku 10 and Shikona Hikona that he inherited from Ishiki. That's something very close to that anyway. So the point is, he didn't say that Coat's claw marks came from Shibai. What he did do, though, was group Coat's claw marks with Ada and Damon, and then proceed to say Kawaki's abilities are also Shinjutsu, but they're from Ishiki. He specified Kawaki's come from Ishiki, though. So it's like, based off that, we also just know Ishiki doesn't have the claw marks. So it's like he's implying it's the same as Aiden and Damon, but it's possible it's a third of Suzuki that he just chose not to tell us.
Maybe he could have been a
okay, I'm about to say, because so can we be under the assumption that all Osusuki knows some type of Shinjutsu?
Definitely.
Yeah, I think every single Osusuki uses Shinjutsu.
Yeah.
Then Momoshiki have to like kind of like go and research what Amado was saying to make sure it was the truth.
Well, he just said he knew all Shinjutsu, but I don't recognize Ada's ability.
Oh, got you. Right.
And then he thought about it and said, "Oh, I get it. She must have omnipotence. That's why this is happening."
Got you. Okay.
So, to a certain extent, yes, Momoshiki definitely knows Shinjutsu, and it would stand to reason that Ishiki himself would also know Shinjutsu. But then we circle back to Kaguya, and since Shinjutsu as a power, as like the new power meta within the Boruto franchise, hasn't been an established concept in the early parts of Naruto.
Kind of, she didn't have to weave hand signs.
Well, she did,
but honestly,
jutsus were classified as ninjutsu.
Yeah, but that was Hagoromo doing that though. When you watch Kaguya fight, you don't see her weave any hand signs.
Yeah, and I'm not saying
honestly speaking, yeah. So in the Naruto data books, it says ninjutsu for these things.
Yeah.
So it would be a retcon, but there is something I will say is I think yin yang release abilities are Shinjutsu, because if you look at the databook page for yin yang release, it's identical to what Amato's saying about Shinjutsu. It's ninja developed ninjutsu based off yin yang release. Like the the secrets of ninjutsu are most certainly rooted in the fragments of yin yang release. That's literally what Amato is saying about ninjutsu and shinjutsu. And if you look at what the yin yang release abilities examples are, it's creation of all things jutsu, Naruto whipping out a new eye for Kakashi. It's all the crazy things. So
like
it kind of seems
Izanagi.
like essentially yin yang release are shinjutsu. That's the impression I'm getting. And all the yin yang release jutsu are crazy. So it makes sense if that's how you look at it. In which case, a lot of Kaguya's jutsu probably do fall under yin yang as an Atsuki. That's just what I'm thinking it is anyway. So in a sense,
I think it says that in the data
sort of a
books.
retcon, but also just a name change.
It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
I actually do have the character data book, but not data book number 4.
Yeah, I just have to look up. I don't own the data books, but
Yeah, it's weird.
you can find the yin yang release one online.
Well, I said we all have a data books. It's called google.com.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically.
Yeah.
Granted, half of them aren't translated.
That's not true, is it?
What?
Some of them, well, some aren't translated, or some just have bad translations, I should say.
Okay, fair enough.
So one thing we do know is that yin and yang release are just like two governing spirituals. I mean energies, sort of like primordial spiritual energies. So
yeah, like yang is physical energy, yin is spiritual energy. It's like the purest form of those energies if you use yin or yang. Like if you use yin release, you're just using pure spiritual energy. Yang release, just pure physical energy. Yin.
Which one does Shikamaru use?
Shikamaru uses yin. Choji uses
yin.
yang. Uchiha use yin. Senju use yang.
And I'll never be able to
light and darkness, basically.
I'm always going to say the opposite.
So as an example, though, the best way to describe yin yang release is comparing like Kekkei Genkai versus just mixing two chakra natures. So, for example, if when Naruto and Yamato against Kakuzu, Naruto uses the wind release jutsu, Yamato uses the water release. They make this hurricane combination jutsu. That's not the same as what Haku does with ice release. So the same thing applies with chakra versus yin yang release. So chakra, you're mixing it. It's like mixing a wind release and water release jutsu. Yin yang is like the Kekkei Genkai, like the ice release. That's the best way to look at it. So that's why it's different. And I think shinjutsu is the same thing. It's just using it better.
Same thing. It's the same thing, but it's like on steroids. Like
I don't even think that shinjutsu is really on steroids from yin yang release. Like honestly speaking.
I would say
Sukuna Higana, is that really on steroids from the creation of all things jutsu?
No.
On Google it says I looked up who has yin and yang release. It says so far the only users of yin and yang release include Hagoromo, Hamuro Susuki, Asura, Kaguya, Madara, and Obito. After becoming a 10-tailed Jinchuriki, and Naruto was given access to 6-path sage mode by Hagoromo and a Force Shinobi.
Yeah, it's all the Atsuki related things, you know, like coincidentally.
And then we got the definitions here. Like, what is yin release? Yin yang release. Hold on, yin yang release. Shadow and light style is a nature transformation that combines yin release and yang release, two natures that exist outside of the 5 basic elements, like fire, wind, all that stuff.
Yeah, it's like a Kekkei Genkai of yin and yang, essentially. Best way to think of it.
Yin yang release can also be used to nullify the effects of all ninjutsu.
Yep.
And a good example of this is the truth-seeking balls.
Yeah, that was yin yang.
Yep.
Yeah, and also this one is a little bit vague, but it's possible the rods that like Madara, Pain, Obito use have a similar effect, because Madara does just like nullify Sasuke's Susanoo or Amaterasu infused Susanoo arrow with a rod. It literally just nullifies it. So they might have somewhat of a similar effect, just not as good as Truth Seeker orbs.
Okay, so I looked up what is yin release. Yin release is the manipulation of Shinobi's spiritual energy, and yang release is the manipulation of Shinobi's life energy. When combined together, both form yin yang release, the rarest and most powerful nature transformation in the series.
Yeah. So, like, for example, a Genjutsu, almost always, with like an exception of Izanagi, is just yin release. It's just imagination, essentially. There's no physical energy. It's literally all your mind. Something like medical ninjutsu would most likely just be physical energy. You're not creating new form out of nothing. You're just adding life energy into someone and making them heal, essentially. And it also would fit in the whole Senju have yang release. What is Hashirama known for? Healing. Same with Tsunade and so on. The expansion jutsu is a yang release jutsu. Sorry. Shadow possession is yin release, literally a shadow, like shadow style. Pretty easy. That's how you should remember Oodie. But yeah, anyway, honestly speaking, like they kind of sound like the same thing. I'm gonna do a video on it, breaking it down at some point in my life. But I think that's all it is. But it's still crazy OP, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to see who has what, like who has yin release and who has yang release, but I think you already explained that.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have a big list, but like Genjutsu users have yin release. The Nara clan has yin release. The Senju tend to have yang release. Akimichi clan yang release. Medical ninjutsu users yang release. There's some other random examples somewhere